Hey guys, so Cameron Schmeits, I work for UT Austin, working with TxDOT as well up in the project office. Our project that I'm working on right now is the North Tarrant Express, segment 3A project. It's actually done, so we're actually moving on to the next phase, but it just finished up, so I'm going to present some of the work that we did. Here, as you can see, it's just north of Fort Worth. Fort Worth is in Texas, near Dallas. So our project was a public-private partnership. Basically what we're doing is we're adding capacity through having a managed lane system, which is the interior. So what we're going to do is you can see the existing. Basically what we do is we kind of shift everything outside, put new lanes in there. We're leaving a little bit of space for some more highway lanes. So it's a highway within a highway. We have the toll roads in the middle. Those are dynamic toll lanes, so guaranteed 50 miles an hour. Don't know what you're going to pay. It could be 95 cents. It could be $15. But you're guaranteed 50 miles an hour, or you can hang out on the general purpose lanes, which are on the outer edges. Here's a couple of beauty shots of our project. One of the unique things is we have I think maybe it might be one of the coolest interchanges. We have managed lanes that run north and south, kind of in this area there, and also east and west. So we have, not only do we have direct connectors for general purpose to general purpose lanes on different highways, but we have managed lane to managed lane connections. So that creates an amazing amount of direct connectors. And then you can see also dealing with being near downtown Fort Worth, and that'll kind of come into play here in a little bit. $1.4 billion project. TxDOT's the owner. We have a private developer, which is Intemp, Centra, if you know them. 6.3 miles, doubles capacity. We just finished up. You can see some of the traffic numbers there, quite a bit of traffic. This is a NAFTA freight corridor as well, so we're dealing with trucks. It's also a public-private partnership, so communication between different entities is where visualization can help, and it certainly did here. I'll present later on some work on 3C, which is upcoming, so there's different segments of this 35W project. So total is 18 miles over 3 segments. So our first use of virtual reality, so we've used visualization on this project the whole time, but talking about virtual reality was aesthetics. And people are like, oh, aesthetics, you know, we're painting a bridge, who cares? Well, people in the city, when you're near downtown Fort Worth, do care. As you can see right now, we're near downtown Fort Worth. This is the interchange of 35W going north and south and 121 coming into downtown Fort Worth. So what happened here is that we have the managed lanes. We added the managed lanes, and we added new direct connectors so they can connect right into downtown. Great. So people that work in downtown can just hop straight direct onto our managed lanes. So that created a new direct connector bridge, which you can see there in the purple. Now, what the problem that we had is that we had this brand new bridge in blue. It splits into 2 bridges for the different directions in red, and then we're connecting into existing bridge, which is outlined in the purple. And we have 2 different color schemes. So they came to us and said, what color do you want us to do all this stuff? We have this one bridge that's a joint bridge, then it kind of splits and ties into this existing bridge, and then right next to it in green, we have our managed lane bridge, which is painted the tan and brown color here. The existing bridges are this cream and red. We're not going to paint the existing bridges. We have this bridge right next to it. What do we do? So we had different proposals from engineers who aren't architects, and maybe we should have involved some people who know color. I think we're doing a color presentation later. So they said, we had proposals of, let's just paint everything, the red, the blue, all this cream color, that's what we're going to like. And some people said, well, no, let's do it at the split. Let's do, one color this way. And then we had some other proposals of, well, maybe if you paint the interior beams that cream existing color, then, that'll look okay as you're driving in on the managed lanes. But then when you look out, we'll have to have the exterior beams be another color. So we had all these different things. And they looked at me as the visualization guy and said, Cameron, can you figure out some mock-ups of what this was going to look like? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm thinking of all these color combinations. I'm thinking of all the different locations we need to look at it. We have 35W there. We have, as you're coming in on the managed lanes, as you're on the existing road, come in there. And it It was just, complex interchange, multiple view angles. We had existing colors. It was very visible. This was one of 2 entrances into downtown. We had already existing elements present, and they wanted to paint this pretty quick. So what we did, we had the 3D model basically created in this area. So what was important was making sure that we had all the elements in there. So if you didn't model that Manners Lane Bridge, which was the brown and tan, you might get kind of a false idea of what you want to do. So we had to get everything that was painted or going to be painted and how it was going to be painted in the model. We had the different rail types. We had sound walls. So we took our model, threw it into a gaming engine, walked around as a pedestrian, and then programmed it where you could change different elements of the bridges to different colors. And so we also, put our team into the VR headset and then use an external screen so we could kind of do so we could communicate and collaborate. So I want to show y'all some pictures. Here's 35W. Here's what it looks like from 35W. Above you is that big direct connector bridge. To the left is the existing bridge that's already painted, already ready to go. You can see here's a view from where it splits. So this is where if you're on one of the highways, you see the direct connector coming in there and a possibility of where we would change the color. Here's what it looks like on the managed lanes. I can't put you in virtual reality in the presentation, so I'm trying to do the best I can here. So here's just a video walking around. So here's if you're kind of walking on 35W, I don't recommend that, what it looks like. So you've got the managed lane bridge already painted over there. There's our new bridge. People don't know what to paint it. And then off in the distance, it's the other one. Here's maybe a different video. So you can kind of split. You can go into downtown Fort Worth to the right. You can keep going on 35. And so all these different angles just made it crazy. So it's actually built. Here's that picture, kind of that same picture of 35. You can see that split where you're going to go into downtown Fort Worth. Here's where we decided to split the different colors. So, kind of spoiling it here of what we did. So you see that's where it kind of splits into the existing bridge. So what did we learn from this? So benefits that we realized from this and VR: increased communication. VR is cool, especially for people who have never used it in DOTs. So, also we had that external monitor. So people took turns. We really had a great discussion. Whereas, if we hadn't had VR, how much would we have, I would have emailed some people some pictures and it would have been like, But when we were able to bring in multiple people into VR in this cool environment, there is kind of a draw because of VR, where we did get increased communication. Increased certainty. One of the reasons I did VR is because I didn't want to render 150 or however many images of views. So this way, what it is that we could look at it any way we wanted. You could teleport all around there. You had 360-degree content. We had all the angles. When we programmed the ability to change the bridge colors, you could look at all the different combinations. The weird thing where the beams were different colors. So yeah, we were able to, basically just increase our certainty because we tested all our hypotheses and looked at it from every angle. Time efficient. Because we're in VR, we weren't trying to figure it out. We weren't searching through plans and making sure we had the most updated. We got together as a team and just solved it. And I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to go through all of your options together as a team right there. Safety, we were in the office. We weren't out on site. And then, being in visualization, one of the things that I like is whenever I learn cool stuff. And so what we realized by doing VR versus the images is that, man, this bridge is massive. When you look at it on a schematic view, like I showed you earlier, you're like, oh, it's just a little 2-lane bridge. But when you get into scale, which is one of the biggest advantages of VR, you realize how massive this bridge is. We have 100-foot straddle bends. We have 9-foot deep beams. And this little bridge that you didn't think was going to be maybe a big issue becomes a really big part of that interchange. And so that was really cool to learn. And then that bent where it changed colors. We didn't think about it. So you have one kind of color scheme coming into the other with the beams. What color do you paint that bent? And so what's kind of cool is we did that. We were kind of like when you were in the eye doctor and they go back and forth, which is better, one or two. We kind of went back and forth with everyone, and we decided on that we liked this color option. But we didn't even know that that was a problem until we got into VR. So those are kind of some cool things. So then they said, "Oh man, that's cool, Cameron. We have another bridge. Can you do that as well?" So this one, again, it's an existing. It's tying into an existing intersection. This is I-30 and 35W, right in the middle of downtown. So we're kind of scabbing onto an existing I-30 direct connector, and then we're going to hop over. So this one actually, runs parallel. So they said the same thing. Cameron, what color should we paint this bridge? And I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's get into VR. So just give you all some examples here. There's kind of what it would look like. You can then kind of have a side-by-side of what, if we painted it kind of the existing colors, which was white, the whole intersection was white, or if we painted kind of the project colors and how we did that and what it would look like. And so here we had the sound walls, and we had existing direct connectors over there to the left, which you can see. And we chose, which was kind of bold, I think, to go with the existing white color in the area, and then we had to figure out where to stop it. So here's what that one looks like. So our new direct connector is over there to the right, and you can kind of see some of the direct connectors over there to the left that were existing white, and I think it looks pretty good. So those were two things that we used for real on a project. We decided the colors. You can see it right there, basically on virtual reality. So some things that we're trying to do in the future, and where I would like to go, is at driving, right? We work in transportation. We shouldn't be looking at projects from a pedestrian point of view. There's a lot that you can learn from driving, so I want to show you here. So here's our little dune buggy. We're trying to make this more of an official car. So he has virtual reality headset. He's got steering wheel. He's got pedals, just as close as we can get it to real reality. As you can see, he's going like 100 miles an hour. So, moving at speed is going to open up some things for us. The thing that I'm trying to get at, that I'm going to talk about a little bit, is is the headset enough? There's our static airplane. All right, y'all kind of get it. You can drive wherever you want. You can fall off a cliff. It's really kind of crazy. So conclusions for me. VR is a powerful visualization tool. It's got the 360-degree content. It's got the scale. And then one of the biggest things that I think is the different interactions that you can program in it. From changing bridge colors to driving around to animating cranes. It's really a video game. Also, we've learned that VR requires a different level of modeling. Some of our visualizations start out as a helicopter view, and so when you're looking from 150 feet above the ground, you don't have to model, if you have a little bit of, your curbs aren't great, or there's a little bit of a gap, that doesn't show up when you're in a helicopter, but when you're a pedestrian or a car, that, it's right there, it does show up. So for me, I'm kind of trying to figure out how to take VR from this, what I call maybe super visualization. It's not virtual reality, because in virtual reality, can trying to get to where it elicits feelings of, which is going to be hard because we don't have any G-forces. So when you're driving that car at 100 miles an hour, how do you make it feel like you're driving 100 miles an hour? Do we need something that stimulates G-forces? How else do you figure out speed? Is that pavement markings, or having things more things coming, like signs where you see the differences in how you're closing, and then that creates more things to model. So But I think if you can do that, then looking at merges or weaves, and you can bring in real traffic data, or what does it look, what's the difference of driving this direct connector from a tractor trailer versus a car? So that's where we are on virtual reality on our project. It is very, very powerful. It's very, very helpful. It's very, very efficient. It helps communication a lot. And we're just trying to figure out how we can kind of push the envelope and push the boundaries for our client, TxDOT. Thank you.